നമ്മളൊരു ഒറിജിൻ എടുക്കുക. ആ ഒറിജിൻ ഫയലില് ഞാനിവിടെ കാണിക്കാം. ക്ലാസ് 3-ല് ഇതൊരു ഒറിജിൻ പ്ലോട്ടാണ്. ദിസ് an origin plot. Just open that origin plot and there is an option called copy page. File, edit, copy page. Okay, you can maximize it or whatever you want. Copy page. Now you can paste it to any PowerPoint or wherever. Either you can copy paste it to some origin or word or whatever, wherever you want. So let us see. Paste. Now once you paste it, now it is pasted along with embedding the data. So there is no problem in taking the data by double clicking the program. You will be able to okay. I am repeating it several times just to have an idea. So we have a liquid and it's a crystalline system just shown below. Then this is, if you bypass the crystallization, you will get supercooled liquid, and as you go ahead to lower temperature, you will get glass. And we have seen different glasses and its advantages. Again, people are coming. So my request is that either you come in time or you please don't come. And we have evaluated the capacitance, and this is the response, classical response. Then after that we learned the basic technique behind the impedance measurement, where we get impedance. So instead of DC, we are using AC. So naturally we will be getting current, and this is the experimental setup. So the response would be, for the AC voltage, we will get AC current also. And the peculiarity of the AC current is that it will be slightly behind, and this is the experimental setup. And this is the cooling accessory, schematic diagram, and real experimental setup. And before doing any experiment, you have to calibrate the instrument. Calibrating the instrument means you are calibrating the instrument first. Then after that, where you are measuring, so you naturally would be having the series impedance, parallel impedance. So you have to take into account of all these series and shunt impedance, so that you will finally get those series and shunt would be accounted and deducted, so that you will get, if you measure 100 ohm, otherwise it would be some 105 ohm or 102 ohms, it will finally be subtracted. So you will get exactly that is called experimental setup calibration. Before that, the instrument had been calibrated, and to ensure that where you are connecting the wire, up to that all the experiment, the device had been calibrated. Then where you are connecting your device under test, that cable up to that point you have to calibrate it so that you will detect all those effects. അവിടുന്ന് അങ്ങോട്ട് പോയി camera is on. Now after doing that you should have a good idea of what you are measuring. Just a second. Hello Arana. Okay, after that you should have an idea of what you are measuring. So you will be using an experimental setup. You should have a good idea of what is the cell and what is its dimension, what is the effect of the spaces, what is the effect of edge, etc. That also I have already discussed. Then after that is called cell calibration, ensuring the dimension, its effects, etc. Then after doing that, before doing the cell calibration, you will get different epsilon prime. Now after the cell is properly calibrated, you will get the permittivity would be exactly coming towards 1. Otherwise it had been slightly lesser than 1. Then the loss is something like what is the background? You have to remove all the backgrounds. For removing the background, you ensure that there is nothing in between. So to make sure that you have to clean your cell properly so that everything would be less than 10⁻⁴ or of that order. If you have some material in between, like some dirty samples or whatever from the last sample, you remove the mold so that you will finally, this is a real calibrated cell, so that you will get less than 10⁻⁴ or that order. Now if I calibrate it and if I get 10⁻�3, and if I have the sample response is also 10⁻�3, how can you show that it is from the background? That is the reason why you have to clean your cell properly to ensure that your background is minimum possible. So whatever I do the experiment, I make sure that the background is of the less than or equal to 10⁻⁴. And this is what the response of a system, and this is its temperature. You take here you can see that frequency you are taking is 10⁻² to 10⁷ at a particular temperature. Each line corresponds to one particular temperature. Here, this is another way of looking the same thing. You change the temperature and you take data at a particular frequency. This you are taking because you want to have an idea during cooling the sample is not crystallized. And this also I have explained yesterday during the last class. It's at a particular temperature the response would be like this, and we said that it is epsilon infinity at the lower side or at high frequency side, and this is the low frequency limit, and the difference between the high and low is the dielectric strength. And this is imaginary part, where you see the imaginary part is also called loss. Loss would be having a maximum if it is a molecular system, that we call it as peak loss frequency, and both sides it would be coming down, and at low frequency again it is coming up, and this is called shooting up is called conductivity, contribution from conductivity. And we have seen that as here, if you go further to high frequency, what we will see, and at the same time, if this is corresponding to a particular temperature, what will happen if you reduce the temperature or increase the temperature. These are all our interest, and we have found that response is something like this. And again, the real part is having this response. Imaginary part, you are not able to see anything here clearly. So you magnified that separately, and you will see one process, second process. So whatever on the low frequency side is called primary process, and on the high frequency you call it a secondary process. There are some other meaning also, and if you take the, you can see that more idea is lacking in this diagram on plotting it in the logarithmic scale y-axis. Frequency is already in the, because you have to accommodate different decades. So the x-axis is already in the logarithmic scales to accommodate all the decades. In the same way, if you plot it in the imaginary part also in the logarithmic scale, you will have a response like this. So this slope is the additional information. And we have seen that this is 1 minus alpha. And this is the full frequency response. Now you can see that this is the, you can see it is coming from 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 14. Extremely broad frequency range and conductivity also. Now again, these are all the temperature dependence. We have already seen that after taking the measurement, you note down the for a particular temperature. Each temperature would be having a particular loss. That is called the characteristic frequency of that particular process. And you take the mole and plot it in the reciprocal temperature, reciprocal 1 by T. You can see that if you have 200 and 400 degree, 200, 1 by 200 is equal to 0.005. Now if you multiply by 1000, then you will have an idea. Everything would be coming into 2 to 10. So that is why we are multiplying by 1000. So to get a clear-cut idea, we put the mole in 1000 by T. Then you will get a response like this. Shabana. Another. Oh. Now, once we get the experimental response, either we'll be having theoretical response, and we have plotted this, a single response. Now, this also we have discussed yesterday. Here we have one asymmetric parameter we discussed yesterday, one symmetric parameter also. This is what we will be doing today. Now after that we will be doing this, and that is what today we are planning to do. And already we have seen that the real experiments would be having this sort of response. You will be having a primary process and a secondary process. Okay. So for doing this, what I am doing is Control C. I'll go to the new slide, Control V, and I think from the current slide, you can see that this is what we have to do, and this is the response. We have epsilon infinity. I put it in some other symbol. delta epsilon by 1 plus I omega tau 1 minus alpha plus beta. We put a suffix because we have one more process to add, and this is the complex, and these are all real quantities. But if you equate it to a complex equation, then the program will automatically it will take care of all these effects coming out from the complex. You can see that denominator is a complex quantity. That we will, let us see how we can do that. For doing that, I'll open the program once again, and again I'll show you what we had done. If you want, I can show it to you once again. You want me to do again, or shall I continue from what I had done already? Please tell me. You have a clear-cut idea of what I have done so far? Programming, or someone, Arunima, if I want to do it again, or you are comfortable with this? Newcomers
ಇಲ್ಲ
can.
ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ചെയ്തോളൂ.
Okay. Any others wanted to? Okay.
Sir, it is comfortable, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay. So by running this program, program I have written from the scratch and shown you. So this program is only a do loop. It will start from -2 to 7 with a step of 0.1. And I gave you a question to make it 100. So what we have to do in that case, if you want to, right now it is, no, it will not be 100. If you want to give 100, then what you have to do is, diff is equal to, I put some difference, or a delta is equal to 7 minus 7.0 minus of 2 means, or 2.0 divided by 100. So since everything I have to declare, so DEL. Now if I close workspace, you can see that I'll show you once again. Prog1 build. I wanted to write star comma star. Star is for a default. Build, rebuild all, yes, build, execute. You can see that it is almost 9 point. Okay, I'll to give you more clear, I'll put 10. This is format, how you have to present it. That is the meaning of format. Format, F means real quantity, 10.4. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. What I have, this is 0.09. Now if I do this, instead of 0.1, I put diff. Now you can see that build, rebuild all, it has given a error implicit diff. Oh, sorry, that is DEL. That is why DEL, build, rebuild all, build, execute. Now you can see here that the out one is giving how many numbers? 101 number. 101 number is almost correct, because this is the question I asked you. You need to generate almost 100 steps, so that you got an idea how to do this. Now After doing that, what we have to do is, again, I'll show you from the prog one. To get, I'm not using del for the time being. Okay, del is okay, no problem. Now, frequency is equal to L. I have L. Now, frequency is equal to 10 to the power LF. File, save, build, rebuild all. Okay, frequency again I have to freak. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. Now you can see that now out one would be giving, okay, sorry, what I have written, I have to write frequency instead of L. I have to write 1 comma star frequency. No, I am not writing anything here. Okay, I can put a because it is 10 days too, so it is better we'll keep as it is. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. Now you can see that instead of this, you got the frequency. This is how we generate the frequency. Now the frequency is 10 raised to minus 2 to almost 10 raised to 7. So now we have generated the frequency. Now I'm going to the program 3. This is what we have done in front of you on that day. So what we are doing now is this is what we wanted to generate. So for doing that, this quantity EPS is equal to, EPS must be defined as a complex quantity. So if you want, I'll write it from here again. Complex EPS equal to what we have to add, delta epsilon EPSI epsilon infinity. This quantity has been added. Now this is DEPS, delta epsilon DEPS divided by, so I'll put it like this to get more idea. Now here, so that I know I have a better programming strategy, so that I know that starting and end to, I have to end it. Now numerator I have defined, denominator 1 plus I omega tau. 1.0 plus I have to do 0 comma 1 I omega. What is omega? Omega is 2 into pi into freq. So I have to define, hello, pi. I have, yeah, we will put it. Okay, one bracket is missing, I know that. Okay, thank you. Pi I have to define. Pi is a different way we have seen that. Pi is equal to a tan 1.0 into 4. To get an idea for others, I just put star comma star pi. So whatever we missed to EPS I have already given. Now EPS I, DEPS 2 pi f, that is omega. Everything has been written. Now omega we have written 1 plus I omega. Omega tau. Tau we have to give into tau. Okay, sorry. Tau we have to give, again we have to declare the mole. DPS, before that EPSI epsilon infinity we put something like 5, DPS we put something like, or let us put it 3 and 7 so that it will be. Now the next quantities tau is 1 by frequency 1 e minus 3, so that peak loss frequency would be the reciprocal somewhere around 10 raised to 3, means 1000 hertz. Now what we have to do is to the power 1 minus alpha. So this bracket you have to make sure that this bracket had to be ended here. Okay, 1 plus I omega tau. This had to be only the imaginary part has to be powered. So here it has to come I omega tau to the power 1 minus alpha, this alpha. Now the bracket has been closed. Okay. Now that has been done. Now everything has to be powered to beta. Now that power is, everything is this thing. One minus alpha to the power beta. Now you can make sure that to be better you put one more bracket so that you don't have confusion. Then I'll show you how to plot it in a, how to rewrite it in a better way. Now alpha we put 0.1, beta you put 0.5. So this is what now we have to write. Control X. സംസാരിക്കല്ലോ പറയും ഇല്ല വാതിലടക്കി. Frequency, real part of EPS, imaginary part of EPS, and we know that this is negative, so we put negative. So this has been what one of the വാതിലടയ്ക്കാൻ പറയും Raju. This is program 1, saved, build, rebuild all. There are four errors because we have not declared alpha, beta. Now you can see that the build, rebuild all, only one error, tau PAU. Save, build, rebuild all, one error. Invalid imaginary part of complex quantity. 22. EPS we have defined EPSI delta epsilon divided by, okay. In that case what we have to do is we do like this, we complement it, we put mark C, rebuild all, again invalid imaginary part of complex constant.
What are bracket 0 1
Okay.
imaginary?
Okay, that has been missing. Okay. Yeah. Now let us see if things are getting rebuilt all again. Okay. In that case, what we have to do is we will do like this. We do not know where is the mistake, so we will go to the inner part. So let us take it one by one. Control C, Control V. We can do it like this: epsilon infinity divided by 1 plus I omega. Raju, ഫാത്തിമ എന്നോടല്ലേ മിണ്ടാവോ വാതിൽ അടയ്ക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്? So we will simplify this. We do it like this. We want to, if it is a very complex thing, we will do it like this. Omega is equal to 2 into pi into f freak. So we can simplify this omega. But you have to declare omega here again. Now we remove all 1 minus alpha and beta. Now you can see that the denominator is 1 plus, this is I omega tau. This is okay. Up to this it is okay. Now the bracketing is here also closed. Now we will see what is file save, build, rebuild all. Now there is no error. Now whenever you see some errors, you should not worry much. You go to the inner core, then one by one you correct it. Now we need to have the beta. You can see that in this equation, outside the denominator there is beta 1. So we put beta 1, beta here. Now again run it, save it, build, rebuild all. Again there is no error. Now we have to come to the inner part. So I put this bracket I omega tau. So I omega tau, inner part is here I omega tau. So you have to put 1 minus alpha. 1 minus alpha. I think we have done everything correctly. Okay. Now we just remove this. So we have defined everything. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. Now the pi we have written initially, that is 3.15, 1415. So no need to print it again. Okay, I remove that. This is how build, rebuild all. Okay. Now you can see that it is generator data out 1. Okay, let us see. I have not saved anything. Prog 1. So prog 1 is here. What we have written? We haven't written anything. Right frequency, real part, imaginary part. Build, execute. Now you can see that the output has been generated. Now let us see. So I go to origin. Go to the desktop or the location where your file is. Type the type of file. Now plot. You can linear log 10 apply Okay. To get a clear-cut idea, you put it with a line, and below you put scientific. This is all discussed. So this is the real part. Now what we have to do is you put back and move the imaginary part. Now you can see that if you put the imaginary part also, linear log 10, apply OK. Now you can see that what is the slope we are planning to find. Now for getting these, we put the grids open, apply OK. Now you will see we have found some way to find the so now what would be the slope here? Someone can say what would be the slope here? Someone can unmute and tell me what is the slope here? Meera? Hello? No one is able to. Come on. What is the slope here?
Hello?
What is the slope on the left hand side of the peak?
-1, sir.
-1. It is wrong. See, slope is when you move to right hand side on the x-axis, whether it is increasing or decreasing. So someone increasing. So that would always be positive. So who can tell me what is the slope? Slope is nothing but what
Rise
is
over
it?
run. Rise over run.
No, these are all the weakest answer. We have already discussed this value would be 1 minus alpha. To get that value, what I am doing is I am selecting this data, and what is the alpha value? Alpha value has been written in the program. Alpha is given as 0.1. So I should get 1 minus 0.1. 0.9 must be my alpha value. So to get analysis fit linear, now you can see that this is the value I am getting. 0.892, that is almost 0.9. You can see that the slope is almost 0.9. And what about if you want to record this? You can Control C and go here and Control V. That value would be written here. This is how it is. Someone now I wanted to know what is the slope at this point. Come on, who wanted to speak? Meera, unmute it, or if you want to ask anything, you can ask. Okay. Okay. Now I wanted to see the slope here. Vinish, what is the slope here? On the right hand side, what is the slope here?
Hello.
What is that?
Hello. minus value.
That is anyone knows that it is.
Then അതിനുശേഷം പിന്നെ മൈനസ് വാല്യൂലും കുറവായിരിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ -4 range.
No. What? How do, from the dielectric parameter? How do you know this value? That is already we have discussed. This is 1 minus alpha.
1 minus alpha times beta.
Yeah.
1 minus alpha times beta.
So what is beta value? Beta value is here in our program 1. We have given a beta is 0.5. So 0.5 times 0.1. That means 0.5 minus, so it would be less than 0.5 with a minus sign.
1.5.
That is what you will get it. So let us see. Now before doing that, I have to see. Okay. So for doing that analysis with linear, so it has given a value. The value has been, you can see that 0.5 into 0.1 is almost 0.44, 0.45 or something. That has been, this is how whenever you do an experiment, you will get an idea of what is happening here. Now, I'll bring it. So, video class attend. Okay. So this is how we have written the first program. Now I remove all the program 2 and 3. So we have incorporated all the program, all the parameters here. Now going to this, if you, okay, I'll put it 150. Now you can see that this is the first only single process. This is 2 process. Now how to generate this? That is what I am showing you. There is one process. There is one more process here. So the secondary process would generally be 1/10 of the primary process, or 1/4, 25% of this thing. So we will see that. To do that, what I am doing is I am renaming this prog 1. I put prog 2. So prog 1, I kept it as it is, and in prog 2, so before starting any program, you just close the workspace so that you can run this. Now, so now up to this we have only one process. Up to this we have only single process. Now what we are doing is now we have 2 process. So epsilon infinity is only coming once, but delta epsilon is coming twice. So we have to distinguish it. So we call it as first process, second process. So second process, there is no beta. That is the, because second process is almost symmetric. So symmetric parameter is there, but asymmetric parameter is not there. That is the advantage of this. So for that, now what I will be doing, instead of delta epsilon in the previous program, I will put delta epsilon 1, tau, I will put tau 1, alpha, alpha 1, beta, beta 1. This is what I am making there. So when you are writing a program, what you have to do is, you have to make all modifications, then you run it once. So epsilon infinity, it is coming only once, nothing to do. So this is 1, tau 1, alpha 1, beta 1. So accordingly, BPS1, alpha 1, beta 1, tau 1. Now what you have to do is, you declare it everywhere. BPS1, tau 1, alpha 1, beta 1. That's it. Now you, in that case, what you have to do is you save it, build, rebuild all. Yes. If you find some error, you have to rectify at this point. You should not write a program completely and try to locate the errors. You have to do step by step. So this is corresponding to first process. So what I do is epsilon 1, epsilon 1, first process. So you can, 2 ways you can do this. Either you can do like this and add. So what I am doing is epsilon 1. So I will put epsilon 1. And the second process is epsilon EPS, EPS2. Then we will add the mole. That is EPS is equal to EPS. That is what I am doing, so that life would be more. Control C, Control V. Now EPS is equal to EPS1 plus EPS2. Now I am incorporating this epsilon infinity to this. Okay, so epsilon infinity. Now you go to this graph. You can see that epsilon infinity plus first process, second process plus first process. So that is what I am doing. Epsilon infinity plus. Now DEPS1 divided by 1 plus I omega tau 1, this thing. Now you copy this, Control C, Control V. Now epsilon 2 is equal to DEPS2 divided by 1 plus I omega tau 2, 1 minus alpha 2 to the power beta 2. Now go to this equation PowerPoint once again from the current slide. In the second program, there is no beta. So either beta, you can put it as 1 because it is power, or you can remove that. Whatever you like, you can do that. Beta 2, what I am doing is beta 2, I am removing. Alpha 2, the other things I am retaining as it is. Now I declare them once again. DPS parameters corresponding to first process, DPS2, O2, alpha 2, there is no beta 2. Alpha 2 I put 0.5, the reason you will understand after sometimes. I increase 6, 7 I put 1. Now you have to declare the quantities either real. What are the quantities you have to return? These quantities. DPS2, alpha 2, beta 2, tau 2. And we have defined the mole, epsilon. Complex we have already declared here. Build, rebuild all. Now you can see that beta 2 I have declared. There is no beta 2. That is why it is not an error, but it is a warning. Build, rebuild all. Build, execute. Okay. Now you can see that now I import this file, save the project as class 4, where it is saved, desktop class 4, graph 01, first graph. Now what I am doing is I am importing the, okay, only problem I made is like this. Prog 2, I should make the graph to be out 2. This some, save it, build, rebuild all, build, execute. Okay, continue. Now you can see this. I imported here. Now I remove this. That red line linear fit I removed. Okay. Now this is what you see. To make it better, these are all coming from your experience. I put epsilon tau1 to be tau1 to be 1e1, tau2 to be 1e minus 4. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. സംസാരിക്കല്ലോ. Now you import the file out to get a much more better graph. What I am just these are all doing for clarity purpose. What I am doing is I am plotting the graph from 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to 9. I am accounting a very broad frequency. Rebuild all, build, execute to get an idea. So we how to. Okay, there is no need of a grid line here. So whenever you present, you should not present it like this. In this case, what you have to do is increment must be 2, so that this would be reasonably presented well. This line you should remove. Now this is the imaginary part, and this has been plotted in logarithmic scale. Now it has, when you put okay this okay, this should be removed. I don't know. Okay. Okay, now you can see that this is what we have seen here. The second plot I have generated now, and we have plotted this log first and linear second. Now we want to see what is happening to the real part. So real part is in B, so I put it like this. Okay. 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to 8 or 9. Okay. Now you can see that a clear-cut first process, second process, and this is epsilon infinity. Now you can see that also. Epsilon infinity is 3. Epsilon infinity we have defined to be 3 only. And the second process, and if you take this value, it is almost 3, and where it is ending, it is 3.9 or 4. The difference is 1. That is the delta epsilon second, almost 1. And the third quantity we have from 4 to 11, it is 7. So this is how we plot this quantity. Now what I ask you, either you try to understand what I have written here. You have to understand it, whether if you are not smart enough to rewrite the to write a program, that will not be, anyway it is, I don't bother. But if there are two processes, then you should be able to change the parameter and see what is happening. For example, if I say that you have to plot a program with delta epsilon 5, delta epsilon 2 to be 0.5, epsilon infinity 2.5. This, what you have to do is you have to go to this program and try to generate the data. This must be, this you have to do at least. This is what I wanted you to do at least. So if, for example, there are certain process, certain experiments where we'll be having, instead of 2, there would be 3 processes. Now we haven't plotted this. How to plot this? We have to put a real part in x-axis and imaginary part in y-axis. Either you can do it like just remove a frequency here, save it, build, rebuild all, build, execute. Okay. Now you go to another origin file, and go to import program for desktop, class 4. Now text how to plot line. Now again, I said you yesterday, this must be plotted in scales, same scale. From, it must start from 0. Apply. Now, okay, for doing that, what we have to do is properties. Many ways, what I am simply what I am doing, I am putting it same scale, apply. Okay, properties 10 is not 8, I put 8 and 8, apply. Okay, now here it is 12, 2 to 12, 10. So the same scale I have to write 12, apply. Okay. Now you can see that you are not able to see what is happening here. So either you have to magnify it by appropriately giving the, I have shown you that we can increase these properties. 8 height is, let us say, 6 and width is 12. Now let us, now what we do is 0 to 6, apply. Okay, same thing. I played with the aspect ratio. Now you can see that you should know what is happening here, isn't it so? Did you get my point? There are 2 processes. One process is here, second process is here. If you want to see that, we will have another way. You go to this program, I copy, Control C, Control V. I rename it prog 3. So that is what I am doing. Just so see this. Again, go to that file. You have to close workspace. Yes, closed it, and go here. You independently plot 2 programs. First of all, what I am doing is, yeah, you please listen carefully. Go to this. What I want is, first process, second process should start from the epsilon infinity and it should end where it is. So first of all, I'll plot that. Okay, that is in first file, the total has been. Second file, what I am writing is, second file, a real part of EPS, imaginary part of EPS. Instead of that, I'll put EPS2, EPS2. Then I'll see that. Then I'll systematically do that. Build, rebuild all. Yes. Build, execute. Okay, I didn't define the. I'll put it process 2. Control C, Control V. It has to be written. Someone can tell me what will happen now. I put file 1. Build, rebuild all. Build, execute. Okay. What will happen is if I plot it here again, what will happen? So let us see. വരുന്ന വർത്താനം പറയുന്നത് file 2. Okay, so I process 2, process 1, save it, build, rebuild all, build, execute. Okay, so what pros 2? Now again I am putting it pros 2. Okay. Yeah, because this is because you haven't added the epsilon infinity to this. That is why it is started from this. So what you have to do in the program is that you have to add the epsilon infinity to the real part. Real part plus EPSI. So the real part would be shifted to right. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. Okay, that is what is missing there. Okay, go here and pros 2 has to be pros 2. Now you can see that this is the second process. Now you can clearly start from now 3, apply. Y-axis must be starting from 0. So this you can put it with a dashed line, solid, or a dashed line with a red color, apply. Okay, now you can see that this is the first process. Now to get the independently what is the second process, what you have to do is process 1, it should start from here. Epsilon infinity is okay. I'll put it x-axis, major tick start from 3, apply. Okay. Okay. Tick 1, apply. You can see that it is starting from 3. So in the same way, this process should start from where it is ending. Where it is ending, this is ending where it is, this is ending here. So this is ending where it is starting. Okay, so that means you have to add epsilon infinity plus delta epsilon of the second process. Yeah, you will understand it. You closely see this. So that I'll put in file number 3. File number 3 is, this is for process 2. Process 1 is real part epsilon infinity plus DPS2, DPS2, you will get the, and first, I know that you will understand it. You watch the class once again, think some more, then you will be able to understand it. It's process 1, process 2, and pause. Okay. File, build, rebuild all, build, execute. You executed it. Now what we have to add is, this is the second process. I put so this is the out, the total process. This is process 1. Now process 2. Sorry, there is some mistake. Process 2 had to be okay. Process 2 had to be epsilon infinity. Process 2. Epsilon 1. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. Process 1. Process 2. Okay, something is gone bad. Okay. Process 1, process 2. Okay, process 2 has properly come. Now we will see what is happening for process 1. So for process 2 has come properly. Now this is we go to the program once again. Process 3. Real part epsilon infinity DPS1. Okay, okay. Real part of EPS is 2, is 2. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. Someone can suggest. Okay. Process 1. Yeah, done. Now you can put it with a different color. Blue. Apply. Okay, with a dash. Dash. Apply. Okay. So this is what you generally see in, let us see this properties. 12 width is 12. I will put 16. Apply. Height is 8. Apply. Okay. This is how you see in many. There are two processes, you independently plot it. In the same way, in the real part also, this I'll put file, save the project as desktop class code 2 pros call. This is called cold call. When before a computer was so popular during 60s, people were trying to understand the dielectric response using this. That is the importance of a cold call, but unfortunately there are some other limitation because frequency dependence will not be that much seen in this diagram. Now I'll go to the other, let us go to the real part, what will happen. Now you want to see that what is happening here. Okay. So to do this is only a real part. So I'll go to that program and I'll plot the first process, what is happening and what is happening to the second process. That is what we are. So what I'm trying to do is I'll rename the program so that you will be able to, I put this as rename. This is cold call. Now I put it as Control V, rename, real part. What is happening to the real part? So I have to put only real part. I put R here, R, so that data would not be get. So here you are writing frequency FREQ, real part. This is the total process. Control X, Control V. Total process. Real part EPS, real part EPS2, second process plus EPSI. So this is the composite process, total process. Now the process 1 we are putting it independently. So how did we declare? This is a pros all or pros all, or pros are real part. Pros 1 are two R. That is what I am doing it. So first of all, what I'll write is the total one. Okay. Then one by one we will go. Okay. Save. Build. For doing this, I have to close this. Close CR. Let us see what is the time. Okay. We have 10 minutes more. File. You have to ensure that close workspace is not highlighted. It is faded. Build so that then only you can create a new worksheet. Build, execute. Okay. Now you can see that a new data file, pros. What was the name of the file? I forgot. ProCR. Okay, this is the file. Now let us see what it is. So for doing this, I delete this. I opened another file, origin. Desktop, class 4, text file, ProCR, plot, line you will see something like this. What you have to do is you have to ensure that log 10, now all the frequencies are in log scale. Now you can see that it must be scientific, apply. Now, okay, you go to where you want to modify. Click here. You want to have a scaling of increment 2 so that it will be more, otherwise everything would be together. Now you see that here the lower limit has been 10 raised to minus 4. It's okay, apply. Now this is the composite. Now you have to see what is the second process. So to get the second process, you go to the program once again. Now what you have to write is, instead of, so I am writing it second process first. Second process is I have to write frequency. X-axis is frequency. Real part of second process plus epsilon infinity. Save it, build, rebuild all, build, execute. I executed it. Now go to that. In this file, I put another data window to upload the pros 2R. Now you can see that second process has been no rescaling. Okay, I put it with another color, the red, apply. Okay, you can see that this is the second process with the line, not solid, dash, apply. Okay, so this is the second process. Second process is ending somewhere where the first process is. Second process is starting where the first process is ending. Now I want to see what is the first process. So to get that, I have the epsilon infinity to be epsilon infinity plus this difference. This difference is epsilon, delta epsilon 2. So I'll put that in the program. So here I remove this. Again, I have to write frequency, Control C, real part of epsilon 1 plus epsilon infinity plus dps 2 or dps 2 plus epsilon infinity, whatever, both are. Build, rebuild all, build, execute. I executed it. I know that that thing would have come. Now you will be able to see the single process, the primary process alone. Now let us see what is happening. To do that, I have to put another window for data downloading. Pros 2 real part, pros 2, pros 1R. Okay. Now you can see that pros 1R I have put. Now this is the first process alone with the blue color, apply, solid, dash, apply. Okay. You can see that first process is alone, it is like this, but it is starting where the second process is ended it. So you got first process, second process. Now let us see in the same way what will happen. In the same way, what will happen? I save this as, save the project as desktop class 4 graph 1 2 process real, not real. In the same way, we will see what is happening to the imaginary part. Now for doing this, what I am doing is I remove that program, Control C, Control V. Now instead of this, I put 3I imaginary part. We have another 5 minutes. We will try to finish it by 10. Hopefully, close workspace. Yes. Now open that program. Now the imaginary part, there is nothing epsilon infinity. So first of all, what we will do is we will write the imaginary part, IMAG, and imaginary part would always be negative. So epsilon 1 minus plus, both are negative, image epsilon 2. Okay, this is the composite response file. Now we go and modify the pros CI, pros 1I, pros 2I. Save it, build, rebuild all, yes, build, execute. Now again opening a origin file. Okay, now go to desktop, class 4, that text, pros 2I. Okay, no data has been generated. Let us go and see the program, what is happening. Pros, okay, pro CI, that is why it has not come. Vadal അടിച്ചാ മോളെ. Pro CI, pro CI, pro CI, CC process, plot, line, linear, decimal, scientific, apply. Okay, now you see this, nothing else. Okay, not scientific. Okay. This has to be log, linear, scale, linear log, apply. Okay, we got two process. Now we have to make this to be increment 2, apply, start from 10 raised minus 4, apply. Okay, this would be more appealing if you plot the imaginary part in log 10, apply. Okay, start the scaling from 10 raised minus 4, apply. Okay, now here we wanted to, okay, let us have it in here also, what is happening here. So for doing that, we go to the program and pros 1I, pros 2I. Here nothing is added from the bottom, so we can simply put the real this alone. Control C, Control V. Here also the second process, Control C, Control V. Now build, rebuild all, build, execute, executed. We have to have an idea what is the name of the file. I forgot. Pros C1I, pros C1I, pros C1I, pros C1I. In the same way, we know that what is happening. Pros C2I, pros C2, pros C2. Rho C to I. Okay. Now you can see these rows I moving together. Now rescaling. Now you can see that you can see this is the first process. This is the second process. I put with a different color, red with a dashed line. Apply. Okay. Now this I am putting it blue with a dash. And if you see this independently, if you take this slope here and here, you will see that the second process would be having slope same on both sides. One is with a negative, the other one is with 1:1. So this is how we have entered at 10. You can see the slope here, and this is how. Now we have completed the two process. Now these are all theoretical model. Now in the next class we will discuss about the experimental response, and our pursuit is if we have an experimental response, how to fit the data without knowing anything, like that is called nonlinear curve fitting. We will go to that place. In between, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Let us wait for 5 minutes for questions, if any. Okay, please. So people are writing, thank you, sir. That means they wanted to stop it as early as possible. Okay. So, any questions, comments?
സാർ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഒക്കെ സെൻഡ് ചെയ്യണം അപ്പൊ അത്
Yeah,
നിങ്ങൾ
yeah,
ചെയ്ത് നോക്കിയിട്ട്
I'll send you the program. I simply wanted you to, if you want to do these experiments, you simply need to manipulate this.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ
If you are not able to write a program from the scratch, I don't bother. But you should be able to manipulate it. Something like, if you are not able to, if you want to